Okay, let's see what these pencils do. We are going to start out with just the standard colored pencils, not the water-soluble ones. They do have color numbers on them and names. See how they lay out on paper. Now this paper is just from Dick Blick. It's their sulfite drawing paper. It's an inexpensive paper and great for just testing things out. It's got a decent amount of tooth and you can get it in a number of different weights. Now these pencils, they seem to go on fairly smoothly. It doesn't seem like they have a huge amount of color load to them. I have to actually press quite hard to get a saturated color, but it does seem to give a richer color. You just really need to press. I'm actually concerned I might break the tip there to get that really rich shade. Now they do lay down, as you can see, a very nice gradient there. Let's bring in another color and see how they layer. It's actually fairly nice. They're definitely not as creamy as Prismacolors, and they're not as creamy as some of the other brands that I have tried from Amazon. Their pigment load is not as heavy as some of the other brands, and like I said, you do have to press quite hard to get a very rich color there. Now, it could also be, I am on a silicone matte here. If you were on a much harder surface, they would probably not need as much pressing to get color, to be fair. Overall, the impression of them is that they're much higher quality than like your cheap Crayola pencils or something like that, or like the Rose art pencils that used to be out there. Not a bad pencil, lots of colors. You wouldn't want to make something that you're going to display or sell. Again, with most of these, I mean, it's not that they're a no-name brand. They have a brand. It's, Cool Bank. But these pencils all seem to be from possibly the same, plant. Just under different names. So I call them no names. But the light fast ratings are always to be questioned on these. So, for the enjoyment of coloring with them or creating artwork, they would be just fine for that. I think that these would make a fantastic present for, someone who is just getting started out into coloring or enjoys coloring. Any child with a love of art would be very happy with these. They're, I had worked as a professional artist before, and I can say that, even from a professional artist point of view, I will use these, just for the pleasure of doing drawings and creating art. But again, I'm not going to expect them to have a light fastness that's going to last. Alright, so let's have a look at the watercolor pencils. Now, these ones are also the Cool Bank. They have a solid color on the barrel. They also have the color number and name on them. Now let's see how they feel on the paper. Very similar to the wax-based, just standard colored pencils. Again, they don't seem to have a huge pigment load. I'm actually pressing quite a bit there to get some color. if I press very hard, we can get more saturation. They do seem to, you know, have the ability that you can really get a nice gradient with them, going from a lighter hand to a, you know, darker. Now let's get a yellow in there. And see how they blend. Again, I'm pressing very hard here on this edge, and then I'm going to taper it in with lighter strokes to blend it. Now here's what's going to be the real test. Let's put a little bit of water on this. Now again, this is just cheap sulfite paper, so it's probably going to buckle a little bit, but I want to see what the solubility is of these. So if we hit it with some water, they actually wet up pretty nice. I'm actually quite surprised at that. Most of the very inexpensive watercolor pencils do not really get that soluble in water. You know, you have a lot of pigment left in lines from where you were drawing. These actually are very impressive for a inexpensive pencil. Now you can still see some of the lines there as I put them in, but overall, for an inexpensive watercolor pencil, I think these perform very well. I think that just as the regular color pencils would make a fantastic gift for someone this Christmas that likes to color and work in art, I think that these watercolor pencils would be the same. And I can tell you that, you know, when I was a kid, if I had found these two sets under the Christmas tree on Christmas morning, I would have been ecstatic. These are, in my opinion, a very high quality pencil for the price, and I would definitely recommend these. Thanks for watching.